Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. I've told you before, I don't really do very much baking these days, but every year at Christmas time, I get this really strong urge to bake a wonderful traditional Christmas bread, a German Christmas bread called Stollen, or technically Christ Stollen. The way that it's folded is supposed to remind us of the baby Jesus and his swaddling clothes in the manger. So whatever the source for the name, it's an amazing bread, and I just love my recipe. I've been working with it and tweaking it for years, and I think it's perfect now. That's my story, and I'm going to stick with it. I think you'll find that this bread is absolutely delicious and is a lot of fun to make. It's not difficult at all. You do have to plan it for a day that you're going to be at home or in and out because while you're only going to spend about an hour hands-on, you're going to have 2 and 3 and 4 hour rising periods and resting and cooling and all of that sort of thing. So it's a wonderful thing to have for your holiday table, for breakfast, for brunch, for 4 o'clock coffee, for dessert. It just makes fabulous gifts. So I love to bake it. I think you will too, and I think you'll find that it's an absolute treat and something you'll want to add to your holiday repertoire. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm delighted to have you with me as I bake Stollen, Christ Stollen, Dresdner Stollen, actually. Thank you. The night before you're planning to bake, you want to get started by combining your fruits, your raisins, golden raisins, the citron, and the other flavorings. You've got grated orange peel, grated lemon zest, also brandy, almond extract, and vanilla extract. So get those together, let that soak. So the morning of your baking day, you want to start by making your sponge. So put the scalded and cooled milk into your mixer bowl with a tablespoon of sugar and a couple of envelopes of rapid rise yeast. You want to work into that about a quarter of the flour, somewhere between a quarter and a third of the flour. So just work those together. You'll get a kind of a sticky dough, and cover that and set it aside, and in a half hour or an hour or so it will bubble up very nicely indeed. Now that's your sponge. So the next step is to get your other ingredients together. You've got your 12 ounces of butter, 4 or 5 egg yolks, the rest of the flour. You can add to that the salt, the sugar, and another envelope of yeast, and whisk those up. So work into the sponge the yolks, the honey, and the butter, and then start to add the dry ingredients in. And you'll be working that slowly until you have a really nice dough. Now it will not be smooth and satiny like a bread dough because it's very rich. It'll be a little bit ragged, but it will develop. So you have a developed dough. You want to form that into a ball, oil it a little bit, and cover it and let it rise. So this could take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours until it doubles in size, depending on the temperature. But do let it go until it's at a full rise. Then you're going to work in your fruits that have been soaked, and don't forget your toasted almonds too, your toasted and cooled slivered almonds. So work that all in and do it by hand, because you don't want to do it with a mixer because you'll break up all the nuts and fruits, and you don't want to do that. So when you have it all mixed, then you want to portion it. It's a pound of dough for a large Stollen and a half pound for the smaller ones. So portion it all out. Then you want to start shaping the dough. And so for each one you want to pat it out into a circle or into an oval shape on a floured surface. Then fold it over. And now here is the really distinctive forming of a Stollen. You use the side of your hand to press down on the fold so that you have this hump in the middle. And then you press in the sides until it's fairly uniform, and keep it fairly thin because it will spread as it proofs and as it bakes. So it needs to proof until it's not doubled but about 50% larger, and that will take, it could take a couple of hours. Then into a preheated 350 oven. The baking time on this is actually really short, about 30 minutes usually for the large Stollen, and for the smaller ones you'll only need maybe 25 minutes. So take them out, brush them with some of your melted butter, and then after they've totally and completely cooled, then you can dust them very generously or dredge them in confectioner's sugar until they are nicely coated. Then they need to go into airtight bags or containers. Cellophane is ideal. There are all sorts of gift bags you can use too. Then they will keep really nicely for a couple of weeks or so. Refrigerate or freeze for longer storage. So that's my Christmas Stollen, Christ Stollen, Dresdner Stollen, whatever you want to call it. I call it absolutely delicious, and thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you'll give this a try. Very, very happy holidays to everybody.